Has science bowed to God? The following is an article that appeared in the Wall Street Journal and written by Eric Metaxas, 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 in December of 2014. The title of it is "Science Increasingly Makes the Case for God." I'm reading it off my cell phone. Forgive me for the glare that comes off my glasses. I should have had my sunglasses on to be more cool. But at last, I don't. The article begins in 1966. Time magazine ran a cover story asking, "Is God dead?" Many have accepted the cultural narrative that he is at least obsolete. That as science progresses, there is less need for a quote God to explain the universe. Yet it turns out, according to this article, that the rumors of God's death were premature. More amazing is that the relatively recent case for his existence comes from a surprising place, science itself. And here, according to Mr. Metaxas, and forgive me if I mispronounce his name, is the story. The same year, 1966, Time featured the now famous headline, "The astronomer Carl Sagan, no stalwart of Christian faith, I can tell you that, announced that there were two important criteria for a planet to support life. One was it had to have the right kind of star or sun. And the other was that a planet had to be the right distance from their star. Given the roughly octillion," and he describes an octillion as a 1 followed by 24 zeros. Given the roughly octillion planets in the universe, there should have been a septillion, and he describes a septillion as a 1 followed by 21 zeros. There should have been about a septillion planets capable of supporting life. With such spectacular odds, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, known as SETI, S-E-T-I, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, a large, expensive collection of private and public-funded projects launched in the 1960s, was sure to turn up something soon. Scientists listened with a vast radio telescopic network for signals that resembled coded intelligence and were not merely random sounds in the universe. I'm interpolating a little bit. But as the years passed, the silence from the rest of the universe was deafening. In 1993, Congress decided they've had enough. They cut the funds for SETI. But the search continues with private funds. As of 2014, researchers have discovered precisely Bubkas. His word, not mine. B-U-B-K-I-S. Bubkas. He described Bubkas as a numerical word, a numerical number beginning with 0, followed by nothing. What happened, he asked. As our knowledge of the universe increased, it became clear that there were far more factors necessary for life than Sagan had suggested. His two parameters, a parameter is an area of study that you measure stuff, if something falls outside of it, it doesn't work, you got to keep it in the parameters. His two parameters grew to 10. So now you need 10 things for a planet, for life to evolve on a planet. And then 20, and then 50. And so the numbers of potentially life-supporting planets decreased exponentially accordingly. I can't help but insert a little bit in, I am who I am. Even SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, even SETI proponents acknowledge, Houston, we have a problem. Peter Schenkel wrote in a 2006 piece for Skeptical Inquirer magazine. Yeah, I know. I said the same thing. Skeptical Inquirer magazine. He wrote, quote, "In light of new findings and insights, it seems appropriate to put excessive euphoria to rest." In other words, you got all excited that we were going to find something. You need to calm down. We should quietly admit that the early estimates may longer be tenable. That means probably not, we can't deal with it. Throw it out. As factors continue to be discovered, the number of possible planets, now get this, hit 0. Hold on to your seat. Not only did it hit 0, it kept going down. In other words, the odds turned against any planet in the universe supporting life, including this one. Probability says that even we shouldn't be here. Today, there are more than 200 known parameters necessary for a planet to support life. Every single one of those parameters, remember the area which something has to line up to make something actual. Every single one of them must be perfectly met, or the whole thing disintegrates, falls apart. Without a massive planet like Jupiter nearby in our solar system, whose gravity will draw away asteroids, 1,000 times as many asteroids would hit Earth's surface. The odds against life in the universe on any planet, I'm interpolating again, are simply astonishing. Yet, here we are, not only existing, but talking about existing, and I'm going to add, and also relishing in our existence. What can account for it? Can every one of those parameters have been perfectly met by accident? At what point is it fair to admit that science suggests that we cannot be the result of random forces? Doesn't assuming that an intelligence created these perfect conditions require far less faith than believing that a life-sustaining Earth just happened to beat the inconceivable odds of coming into being? But he said, hold on. He's not done yet. The fine-tuning necessary for life to exist on a planet is nothing compared with the fine-tuning required for the universe to exist in the first place. For example, he says, astrophysicists, and an astrophysicist, those who study the physics, the the hands-on stuff, the tangible stuff of the universe. He said, astrophysicists now know that the values of the four fundamental forces, gravity, the electromagnetic force, strong nuclear force, and the weak nuclear force, were determined less than 1/1,000,000th of a second after the Big Bang. I could interpolate there, but I'm not going to. I believe in the Big Bang, because when God spoke bang, after any one value, alter or change any one value, and the universe ceases, could not exist. For example, for instance, if the ratio between the nuclear strong force and the electromagnetic force had been off by the tiniest fraction of the tiniest fraction, then no stars, not even our sun, could have ever formed at all. And then he says, feel free to take a deep breath. Multiply that single parameter by all the other necessary conditions, and the odds against the universe existing are so heart-stoppingly astronomical that the notion that it all just happened defies common sense. It would be like tossing a coin and having it come up heads 10 quillion times in a row. Then he asks the question, really? Fred Hoyle, the astronomer who coined the term Big Bang, said that his atheism was greatly shaken at these developments. If I was an atheist, mine would be shaken too. At these developments, he later wrote that a common sense interpretation of the facts suggests that, now get this, now remember this guy's an atheist, a common sense interpretation of the facts suggests that a super intellect has monkeyed, this is the word of an atheist, has monkeyed with the physics as well as with chemistry and biology. The numbers one calculates from the facts seem to me so overwhelming. Now this is an atheist speaking. Seems so overwhelming as to put this conclusion almost beyond question. That a super intellect is doing something, monkeying around with something. Theoretical physicist Paul Davies has said that the appearance of design is overwhelming. Christians without education have been saying this for thousands of years. That the appearance of design is overwhelming. And Oxford professor Dr. John Lennox has said, the more we get to know about our universe, the more the hypothesis that there is a creator gains in credibility as the best explanation of why we are here. The greatest miracle of all times, without any close seconds, including the resurrection of Jesus Christ. Because without the resurrection, without the universe, there would be no resurrection. Hear me now. And of course, we know who the creator is. The greatest miracle of all time, without any close seconds, is the universe existence itself. It is the miracle of all miracles. One that ineluctably, that is unavoidably, points with the combined brightness of every star to something or someone greater than itself.